Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Well, kind of, sort of, it's more about the division rival LA Rams. They made a big trade with the Detroit Lions, assuming that this all goes through by March 17, whatever the start of the new league year will be. Goff, Matthew Stafford, they will be swapping places. So Goff is going to be going to the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford is going to the LA Rams. Rams are giving up a lot of picks, a lot of draft capital in order to make this thing happen because they wanted to get rid of that terrible Jared Goff contract, which I don't know why they signed him to a big contract in the first place, but it is what it is. You know, the Rams, they're really known for giving a lot of big contract extensions, even though I don't know how they're doing that. Give up a lot of first round picks. I think this is a thing that the Rams love to do for whatever reason. They give up picks from 2017 all the way until right now with the Stafford trade 2023. That is a lot right there. What is that? 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's like almost 7 years right there of no first round pick. I don't think I've ever seen that in league history where a team gives up 7 first round picks for players and what have you. They gave up 2 first rounders to get Jalen Ramsey in the first place. That is a lot right there. The way that they're operating right now, they're going on a very short-term lease. They're hoping to win the Super Bowl within a year or two, and that's pretty much the expectation. They got to get to the Super Bowl within next year, 2021 and 2022. If they don't, this whole thing's going to be an experiment. I'm pretty sure they got to blow up this whole organization thing with Leslie probably getting fired if he does not win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just the way it's looking at right now if the Rams do not do anything with Stafford. And Stafford is a great quarterback. 49ers were sort of rumored to get him, but they were not going to take that big trade that the Rams just did in order to give up their future, in order to have a very short-term championship window, which, I mean, that's fair for the Rams because in the NFL today, you have very short championship windows unless you're the New England Patriots back in the day or maybe the Kansas City Chiefs now. It's really difficult to get back to the Super Bowl after you've been there like the Rams did a couple of years ago. So we'll see what this leads to. I mean, if you look at initial win right now, as of today on a Sunday, you probably say the Lions because they got a lot with this trade. I mean, they got Goff, who is, I guess, an average quarterback now. You're looking at, I mean, I'm pretty sure they got rid of him because McVay didn't really trust him as much anymore, and rightfully so. Goff, he's had some nice moments. He helped the team go to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but after that, he's been very inconsistent, very bad play. The Lions, they're probably not looking Goff to be their future, but they just want to get those draft picks and get ready for the future of the Lions, looking like with Brad Holmes, their Rams guy that just became the general manager for them, Dan Campbell, the head coach. They're looking towards the next couple of years with all those first rounders and I think a third rounder right now. That's a very good, bright future for them. They're looking like they're heading in the right direction. We'll see what that leads into in the next couple of years. Rams, short term, they're probably winners. Lions, long term, they're winners. But the Rams, they have a lot more pressure than the Lions to execute on this trade because they better win the Super Bowl within the next year or two, the way they've been running their team for the past couple of years now under Les Snead. That's going to be a very interesting case for the next couple of years. This is sort of similar to the situation with the Brock Osweiler trade when he was in Houston, when Houston gave him that terrible contract. I think it was like a 4-year contract, free agent signing, and then they had to give him to the Cleveland Browns and a second rounder just to get rid of that contract. That's a really interesting dynamic right there, and that's probably what's going to be happening for the NFL for the next couple of years. If they don't like their quarterback contract extension, then they can just give first rounders away to other teams in order to get rid of that contract. You know what? Smart move on the Rams. I mean, Goff was probably not their future anyways. You might as well go with another guy that's a little bit more proven, a guy that's been on a bad team for pretty much his whole career, and go into a very good structured team with Sean McVay as their head coach. I think that's a good move for them in the short term, but we'll see if that leads them to a Super Bowl win because that's really my expectation for them is to win the Super Bowl for the next couple of years. I don't want them to win the Super Bowl, but the way they've been operating, they have to win the Super Bowl or everything's going to be a failure for them. They're going to blow everything up in terms of their organization. But anyways, that's pretty much it for those two trades. Again, Jared Goff going to the Detroit Lions, Stafford going to the LA Rams, and the Rams giving up 2 first rounders and a third rounder in order to get rid of that Jared Goff contract. And the Lions are looking forward to their bright future. Hopefully they do have one because they've had some very bad years ever since, I don't know, Bobby Lane in the 1950s and 60s. There you have it right there. 49ers, this kind of pertains to them just a little bit because Stafford is a great quarterback. He could take him over the hump. We'll see then, but he has been beat up a little bit for the past couple of years, so maybe that's going to spook them a little bit. Maybe the 49ers were spooked on that. I don't know, but the biggest reason why the 49ers didn't get him was just the draft capital, everything what they were asking for, and plus Brad Holmes has a relationship with the Rams. That made it pretty easy to work together, but the 49ers, they weren't going to budge on it, and I'm pretty sure they won't be budging on any quarterbacks. If they're not going to budge for Stafford, they're not going to be budging for Deshaun Watson because I'm pretty sure they're going to be asking for a lot of draft picks for Watson. A lot of people in the league are saying that this trade does not affect Watson's value. I think it does. I mean, Watson, he's in a different situation. He's almost in his prime. He is a young quarterback, 25, 26 years old, very young. He has a lot of great years ahead of him. If I'm a team wanting to get Watson, you'll probably have to give up at least 3 first rounders. 49ers, I know they're going to be budgeting on their future for that, and that's looking like what they're doing right now. In terms of Jimmy Garoppolo, our current starting incumbent quarterback, he's probably going to be staying as our quarterback, and there's been some sources from the NFL saying that he will be the quarterback in 2021. Will he be the long-term future? I don't know. I probably don't think so. I mean, I think the 49ers are still concerned about his turnovers and mostly his injury issues. I mean, the turnovers are one thing, but to not being able to play on the field, very concerning. Although, a lot of people got to remember the Super Bowl run. Jimmy played all 16 games, all the games all the way into the Super Bowl. He did have a fully healthy season if you look at it, but other than that, he's been injured from the 2016 season in New England, the 2018 he tore his ACL, and then 2020 where he had an ankle injury against the Jets, and then after that, it just wasn't the same. I'm pretty sure Jimmy's going to be trying his hardest if he is going to be the 49ers starting quarterback to, bulk up, get a little bit stronger, and hopefully stay healthy as much as he can. Stafford had this problem when he was in Detroit early on. They called him Glass Man. I think he said in an interview that people wanted him to go watch WWE and see how they fall and what have you when he gets sacked or whatever. So far, it kind of worked out, but Jimmy, he has to find something to stay healthy as much as he can. A lot of it's bad luck, but at the same time, you've got to find a way to stay healthy, and that's the thing that everyone in San Francisco is pretty much concerned about Jimmy, is the injuries and the durability of his career. If this means Jimmy's going to be a starter, I'm happy for him. I'm definitely excited to have him back in San Francisco. A lot of you guys are probably grumble. Why is he our quarterback? Why are we paying him this much money? But at the same time, I think Jimmy is a way better quarterback than Jared Goff. I've said that since day one he's been in San Francisco, and I still don't back down by that at all. And the way that they're looking at it from all sources, this could change anytime, but just looking at it right now, he's probably going to be our starting quarterback in 2021. Will they draft a quarterback in the first round? I don't rule that out at all, but I think they're going to be going to another position like defensive back or even the offensive lineman. I mean, personally, I would go with an offensive lineman if it's a non-quarterback position. That's just me right there. But this should be an interesting time for quarterbacks, for Deshaun Watson and everybody else looking for quarterbacks in 2021 and beyond. I think this is going to be very exciting. I mean, the trade was kind of a gangbusters, knockers. I mean, I didn't think the Rams were interested in trading Goff to anywhere. I thought they were going to give him one more year, but I guess it's better to do it now than better to never do it at all. Rams better win the Super Bowl. Lions, they have a bright future if they use those draft picks correctly. And 49ers, they better be right about Jimmy G if he will be the starter in 2021. That's pretty much it, you guys. Please let me know what you guys think about this whole trade ordeal. I'd like to hear what you guys say in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to help me out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up probably tomorrow on a Monday, if not a Tuesday. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. Go Niners all day.